Oh, yeah, it really helps if I turn my mic on. Turn that music off. Let's see how we go in here. I guess you can see me. Happy New Year. I'll be looking here when I'm called in. I'm looking here to see how the stream's going. Um, Felis, thank you so much, Kat, for your 5 month subscription. Thank you so much. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's a surprise stream. It's a surprise stream. I hope you can hear me. Everything seems to be moving okay. I don't see my this is scary. I don't see my audio going up and down here. So I don't even know if anyone can hear me. Let's get that fixed. Sorry, it's been since forever that I streamed, so and you know me, I just like to fix stuff on the... Oh, no, I do see things moving. You can hear me. That's good. How you doing, Kat? You're on the road to recovery. That's good. I didn't know you were bad, but I'm glad if you're on the road to recovery. That's obviously a good thing. Yeah. So, I should have been away skiing this week, and I should have been off work, but the contract commute was horrible. Oh, yeah, you had that horrible commute. I remember. Yeah, I should have been away skiing, but real life... real life took over, so, you know, it's all good. It's all good. So I decided to have a surprise stream because I have some plans for 2020. We've started writing a game before when we failed. Like, I failed miserably to keep, even though it was like so much fun. I know Felix was around, and I really, really enjoyed the process of writing a game. It's just, I just could not commit to the time needed. So my idea here is to write something that I can use for work, in as much as what I'd really like to do is write a Pokemon combat simulator that people can SMS, WhatsApps, Twitch chat into and play the combat as a group thing. So if you don't know what Pokemon Combat is all about, we have a video. I have a video prepped, in fact, so that we can figure that out. So the whole plan here is that I want to make this the basis for some of my talks and make a really cool booth demo, because people who come along to the booth when we're exhibiting, and I'm hoping to get this done in time for PHP UK, but that could be tight. But when we're exhibiting at the booth, I'd like to have this combat simulator where people can text in, initiate the combat, and understand what it is that Twilio does. But I'd like it to be a ton of fun. And I've been playing loads of Pokemon. And I also came across a video that my great colleague Sam at Twilio, Sam's a developer evangelist based out of the US, and he did this great demo at Signal where you can actually play Pokemon on an emulator by texting in direct, button presses on a, use your words, on an emulator for the Game Boy. So I would love to have something like this available for my booth demo, but I'm not going to do the Game Boy emulator or whatever. I'm going to build my own Pokemon ripoff called Chatemon. And I'm going to build that in... I'm going to copy and paste a link to this video into chat so that everyone who wants to can check that out. New keyboard. There you go. So, yeah, I want to build... And what I want to build is just the battle simulator to start off with. And I'd like to build it really simply. Well, Shimon, I love it. I want to build it really, really, really simply. So, the minimum viable product. And then we can iterate on it in stream and decide what features we want to add next. Because, like, Pokemon has all of these huge amounts of stats and things. Oh, I should probably turn my... audio off because you don't want to be picking that up. So yeah, if you don't know how Pokemon fighting works, we've got this video here. And so this is just video play. So here we've got this Scorbunny taking on this Bunnelby. So you can see on the left hand side, we've got a list of moves that we can do. So we can fight. We can use items. I don't care about the using items. The only bit I really want to start with. This is from Sword or Shield. I'm guessing it's from Sword because there's a Scorbunny as the start. I've been playing this game on my Switch. you can see, like, I'm actually in the middle of playing a game right here. I've been playing this game on my Switch since forever, and I'm really enjoying it. And I never really played a Pokemon game before, but I'm really enjoying it. So the first thing is, I don't care about swapping out Pokemon. I don't care about the bag. I don't care about running away. I don't care any about that stuff. All I care about is that we have a Pokemon that has a set of stats, and part of that set of stats is that they have moves, and those moves do different things. So in this instance, you can do Growl, Ember, Quick Attack, and Double Kick. And you can see on the right-hand side, some of them are effective, some of them are super effective. That's because of typing. There's like a fire Pokemon fighting, a water Pokemon is super effective, blah, blah, blah. I would like to add that in, but I'd like to add that in later. Essentially, I'd just like to do a really, really basic combat simulator first, hook it up to a front end, and then hook that front end up so that it can be played over SMS, and then iterate by adding in different types and type matches and super effective and all that good stuff. So really, we're trying to figure out today, and I've done some code off stream that I can show you for a really rubbish basic combat simulator, but it's a start. But what we'd love to do today is to figure out like what stats we're going to have and how that's going to work. So I'd love today, in today's stream, to have a combat class where we can pass in two Pokemon that are already set up in a test or somewhere. We're not going to have consistent persistence. And we can say, oh, if this Pokemon uses this move, then this Pokemon loses this amount of health or whatever. We can figure out the combat algorithm. And I've got some more help with that I found on the internet. So yeah, you can see here that they're going to use Double Kick because it's super effective. So Scorbunny used Double Kick, bam, hits Bunnelby, and then Bunnelby, he hits it twice because it's a Double Kick, so wipes it out in one go. So this is all I'd like to do, is to figure out like somehow we can do that, and I think it should be doable. I found this damage form. This is the formula that Pokemon use to actually figure out their combat. So we've got a start on this. We'll figure out what we want to do, because I don't want to have special attack and attack. There's two different types of attack and defense in Pokemon. We're just going to have an attack and defense to start with. Beautiful Yorkshire tea. So yeah, that's my plan. That's my plan for today. It's going to be cool. I'm really excited to be able to use this like in talks and on the booth. And I think it's a cool way of showing off what Twilio can do. So yeah, let's get going. So we have a incredibly basic rubbish combat simulator here. This is like pretty bad, but we'll go through the code anyway. So we got the concept of a combatant. These are just like, I probably should add getters here and make these at least partially immutable. Like the health, in fact, they shouldn't be immutable because attack and defense can go up and down later on. But some of this stuff should be immutable. Like, I don't think you should be able to change the combatant ID once it's set, the combatant's name. So we need to do a little bit of work around this, but we have this very basic concept of a combatant. We don't have a concept of moves yet. That's definitely something we want to do today. And then we have this concept of combat, which has two combatants, and the turn, whose turn it is to play. The number of turns this has taken, just a combat ID, and the fact is, has this combat been won? And this is really simple. What we're doing here is we're passing in combatant 1 and combatant 2. So when we create this combat, we give it the two combatants who are going to fight each other. Try it and see. Yeah, I didn't think of try it and see. It's not pretty yet. Part of this is me learning, right? I've tweeted out recently that I'm pretty bad at understanding in any kind of coding what should be value objects, what should be objects that just hold data, and how you then have classes or objects that change the state of that data. I really struggle to figure that out, so it's another thing that I'd really like to do here. So then we have this concept of taking a turn. So in fact, it's probably better if I just show the tests here, because we've written all the tests for these, which is nice. So in fact, we should just be able to do that. There we go. So we have tests. This is me over Christmas being a good boy, and turning over a new leaf. Obviously, I didn't look to see how this read at 720p, however, so we should definitely move that on a new line. So the first thing is we set this up and we create a new combat, and I created this combatant factory so that we can easily create combatants. Why is this arguments PHP doc is missing? I don't need a PHP doc because I've got a type hint, so go away. So this is really just a way of creating a combatant. It's not that much fun. We don't really need to worry about it. So we create 2 new combatants. One whose name is 1, who's level 1 with an attack of 10 and a defense of 5. Special, I think we're going to take out. This is me thinking about how these things are going to work, and how much health they've got. So this is combatant 1. Should document was in the array. Yeah, I should use like SAM PHP's notation or something. I ain't going to do that. Not today. Not today. In fact, I think we'll get rid of this special sooner rather than later. And this is combatant 2, who has a level 1, who has an attack of 10 and a defense of 5, but has only health of 10. So we've created 2 combatants. And then we've created... we just want to test that the constructor sets the combatant, and the constructor actually gives us a unique... Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm still not doing it. You go fish. The combat, when you create a new combat, it just gives it a random UUID. Just because I thought we'd probably want this for login and for persistence and all that good stuff. So when you create a combat, it gives it a UUID. If you don't pass it in, you can also pass it in. I don't know why I did that, but it's all good. So that's what this test does. What's the yellow peril? Here, that's a good question. It's probably an uncaught exception. Yeah. So what we need to do is probably add the doc. Oh no, it should have... It should actually have doc blocked that. But I don't have a doc block to say this could throw the exception. It's a test. Who cares? Do you know what? I really wish I could just turn that. Can I just turn that inspection off? Really annoys me. So yeah, then what we do is we test that taking a turn decreases the defender's health and increments the turn. So if we take 1 turn, and the combat here is incredibly simple, but it's a great starting point, I think. Oh, on the UUID, it's the same thing. The exception is not unhandled. I mean, we probably could just add that doc block. No, I don't want to sound about that. I just want to document that this throws an exception. Oh, come on, type in. I swear it's been like 53 weeks since I last... No, it's just an exception. There you go. So the combat is really, really simple here. We say, right, when we create this combat, we say there's no winner yet. So the protected pool winner, it's probably called is there a winner, but whatever. So if there's a winner, then we know... Oh, I hate these. What are they called? Can anyone remember what the name of those arrows that are actually joined together are called? Because I can't remember. Font. Is it in the font? Is it font ligatures? There you go. Hate them. Hate them. Get rid of them. There you go. Okay. So yeah, if we've already got a winner, then we shouldn't be able to take another turn. So this is saying take a turn of combat. And then we say we pull out the attacker and the defender, and we do that using this incredibly ugly piece of code. But essentially what this is saying is the attacker is this combatant plus whoever's turn it is. Yeah. So we're just pulling them into their own variables. So we've got an attacker and defender. So we're using the words 1 and 2. This is definitely could do with some refactoring, but you know, I'm happy to just perfection is the enemy of good, right? Let's just get something down and then we can look for refactoring later. And then what we do is, and this is the most basic combat system ever, because what we say is the damage done is equal to the attacker's attack minus the defender's defense. Yeah, that's all this is doing. This is like a really, really, really rudimentary combat system. There's no randomness in here. There's just literally nothing. So every turn, the attacker does its attack state, and then you take off the defender's defense, and then you apply that to the health. Obviously, we don't want the damage to be like negative, because that'll actually end up, if the attacker can't do enough damage to actually damage the defender, then it'll end up healing them, which is not what we want. So we say, if the damage is less than 0, then the damage is 0. Otherwise, it's just the damage. That's fine. And then we subtract the damage from the defender's health. We increment the number of turns we've taken. We flip the turn over. So if it's currently player 1's turn, then it's player 2's turn. Otherwise, it's player 1's turn. And then if the defender's health is less than 1, then we declare that there's a winner here. I agree, Modestas. Happy New Year to you as well. Get it working, then refactor. That's totally my vibe at the moment. There's been a couple of things that I'm going to live by 2020, and that's progress over perfection, as my boss tells me constantly, because you never get anywhere, right, with going for perfection. You'll never get things finished. So the rest of these are just getters. In fact, I'm going to move these because they're not important. So let's move these underneath. Let's move the getters so that they sit. Oh dear. Oh, I knew I'd just done that. Idiot. Right, let's try that. I copy and pasted a blank line. I copied a blank line before pasting. So these are just getters because I want this stuff to be immutable outside. I don't want anyone being able to modify a combat from outside of the combat. You should be able to run like a turn, or you should be able to get a winner, but you shouldn't be able to say whose turn it is, or you shouldn't be able to set a combatant's health. Like, this combat class should be managing that state. So then we can say get winner. You can use Command Control Shift V, like Command Shift V. Oh my word. And you know, it's not like I used to work for JetBrains, right, and be a developer advocate for PHP Storm. I should know this stuff. My throat's hurting already. I've had a throat infection for 2 weeks, and it's really hurting, but luckily my Yorkshire tea. Thank you, Modestas. Yeah, that's really cool. Command Shift V. I've never used that before, to be honest, Kat. I've never seen that before. It's not like I've used this and forgotten it. That's really cool. But I love it. So we've got unnecessary local variable. Correct. There is an unnecessary local variable. There's a reason there's an unnecessary local variable there. And that's because I had to debug this when I was writing it, because I totally messed up something. But yeah, we can let's fix that, because I'm totally up for making things easier where possible, and also just in case Marco's watching and he would kill me for that. So what we're saying here is we can get the winner, but if there is no winner yet, then we'll just throw an exception to say, why are you trying to get who won this fight when, like, there's no winner? And then we just return which combatant had less than no health. In fact, that should be less than 1, right? Because 0 health is dead. Oh, actually, we've got a bug somewhere. Should you die on 0 health? Or should you die on -1 health? Thoughts? You should die on -1 health, right? 0 health. Oh, I don't know. 0 health you should die on. 0. I agree. This is the invert, though. Oh, yeah, it is. What have I done now? Whoa. Yeah, it is the inverse. You're right. If combat 1 health is greater than 1, surely that should be greater than equal to 1. Because if you're on 1 health, if you're on 2 health, if you're on 1 health, come on. If you're on 1 health, you're still alive. If you're on 0 health, you're dead. So if combat at 1 health is greater than or equal to 1, and in fact, let's run the tests first before we start touching code. And let's see if we can write a test case to prove if there's a bug or not. So we've got the test. Let's just run the tests and check, and then let's write a test to see if we've got a bug there or not. Because that's the way I've promised myself I will work in 2020. I'm going to be better at testing. So let's run all these tests first, right? To check that everything is green. Why is this not working? Oh, see, I updated PHP Storm and it forgot all my settings again. And that is beginning to really get on my goat, because apparently it shouldn't do that. Okay, so let's run all our tests. They're all green. I know there's a warning here. That's a PHP unit warning. I'll figure out how to fix that at some point. But everything's green. Everything's good. That's good. So now what we're doing here is we're checking that we construct correctly. In fact, can we pull the test results back up, because they read... how do I show them all, please? There we go. It's too small. Let's do it this way. Chatemon. PHP unit. Nope. Vendor. Bin. PHP unit. Test docs. I love this feature. So, construct sets combatant and ID. We've tested that. From the person who drilled me in testing. I know I drilled you in testing, Kat, but when I'm working commercially, I'm testing. When I'm working on side projects, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just want to get things working. And then there comes the point where I absolutely always think, oh, I just wish I'd started writing tests at the beginning. So yeah, so taking a turn decreases the defender's health and increments the turn. So that just takes a turn and then checks that the combatant 2's health is 5 and that the number of turns taken is 1 and that the person whose turn it is 2. And then test running combat turns generates a winner. So we keep running this combat until there's a winner. We keep taking turns until there's a winner. I probably should actually put a finite number in there because it's one of the expectations, but meh. And then we check that the combatant 1's health is 15, combatant 2 health is 0. The number of turns is 3 taken, and the winner was number 1. And then we test running a combat turn when a winner exists, throws an exception, so we check that exception runs. Excuse me. Test getting winner when no winner exists, throws an exception. Lovely jubbly. Then if we look in our coverage report, how can I quickly open that in a browser? Oh, here, right? Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Oh, Firefox, that's why. We've got 100% coverage, which is great. My assertions are backwards. My assertions are always backwards. You should know that. Have you tested the getters return the right thing? No, and I won't add the tests in for that. I'm okay with my getters not being tested. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, my assertions are backwards. Live with it. I always have done this. I've always done run the code and then what I expect. And I know they're backwards. I know what you're going to do. It's all good. So, we have an incredibly basic starting point. Let's write a test to check. Let's write a test. Test getting winner works with what am I doing here? What am I trying to do here? As you may get lost in details. Why not you? That's not recommended, as you may get lost in details. I don't know what you mean, because I don't know what I was saying when you said that, Modesta. Sorry. Had a teammate fail a test where he thought that 1599 was correct, but he got 1399 somehow. I don't know what you're saying. I'm so sorry. Anyway, what do we want to test here? Or should we just... Yeah, but essentially it's immaterial what I'm doing here, right? Because under the hood, all that happens here is that we compare these two numbers, right? When I'm using assert equals, all that's happening under the hood is it's checking that this is equal to this. Yeah? So it really doesn't matter if we've got 1 and then get winner. And I'm not going to spend time on stream. I mean, I may tidy these things up off stream, but I'm not going to spend time on stream copy and pasting code, flipping code round. Like we can sort that. I'm not doing it on stream. You can keep on to me all you want, and I'll keep right back in your face saying I'm not doing it on stream. It's totally fine. Okay, so combat. Let's see what we wanted to check here. Right, bear with me. I need to close down my Slack. I'll be right back. Sorry. 2 seconds. I minimized it and I thought that would be good enough, but apparently not. Okay, this is my colleague Stefan. Stefan is reviewing my blog post. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Okie dokie. You can use is that a chat? I tell you what I'll do is I'll push this code up to GitHub after the stream, and one of you peeps who it really annoys can like flip it for me. So let's check what's happening here. If combat and 1 health is greater than 1, then combat and 1 is the winner. But that means it needs to be greater than or equal to, doesn't it? It has to be greater than or equal to, because if you've got 1 health, there's a bug fixed. Okay. So the next thing we want to look at now is how we're going to add moves. So each combatant needs a set of moves. For the interest of this stream, I think we'll just hard code the moves. And we'll think about persistence later. I want to just like give both combatants a list of 3 moves, let's say, and each move is different. In fact, let's get rid of special first. I really don't want to worry about special attack and special defense. We're just going to have, at this point, level, attack, defense, health, name, and ID. I've forgotten speed, which determines who goes first. But move value object. Move the value object to somewhere else. You think it should be in like models or somewhere? You don't like it being in the root of the namespace? Nah, we're okay for now. Make a move value object. Oh, yes. Okay. That's a great idea. We'll do that. So yeah, I think we probably should have... Oh, come on. Speed. Look at this PHP 7.4 goodness. Oh my word, how much I love that. So we probably need speed, which is... This means we're going to have to rewrite the whole thing to use speed. So I'm wondering if we should introduce speed later. And I'm totally open to opinions on this. Do we add speed now? Or do we just say it's your turn, then your turn, and add speed in later? No, the Pokemon has the speed. So the Pokemon with the lowest speed goes first. So if I've got... or the highest speed, actually. So if I've got a speed of 10 and my opponent's got a speed of 20, then they would always go before me every turn. But there's modifiers that can affect speed in the game. So at this point, what I'm thinking is, let's just say it's going to be 1, then 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, then 2. There are concepts of quick attacks. Quick attacks always go first. But we're not going to worry about that for this. For this, we're just going to say... We'll just play the combat out with 1, then 2, then 1, then 2, then 1, then 2. Worry about speed later. So we're not going to add that for now. But I'm guessing my tests will now fail. Oh, I need to add colours in. Can anyone remember how I do that in PHP Unit? Because I love getting sidetracked. It's in here, right? Colours. True. Colorfulness equals... There you go. I'm awesome at coding. Oh, you're going to have to excuse me with my coughs and my splutters and my sneezes. This is the way that it is. So we've got undefined property special, which is totally what I would expect, because in the test... first of all, in the combatant factory, we're trying to set special. No, we're just using iteration here to do that. That's fine. So in the combat test, we're passing in special that we don't need, because we no longer have a concept of special. So let's get rid of that. Let's put that up onto a new line. And let's get rid of that. And that. And let's put that up onto a new line. And then let's check that our tests pass. Nope. Undefined property in Combat Factory test line 28. Did you see that, by the way? This is the greatest thing the PHP Storm's ever done. Did you see what I did? From my iTerm2 terminal, I get a link to the file and line, and if I command and click on it, it takes me to PHP Storm to the right line. I mean, that is mind-blowing stuff, right? Totally mind-blowing. Let's get rid of that. There we go. We got one risky test. Oh, I know why. Because I just started writing a test that I didn't actually use. Is that what happened there? Yes. We don't need that test anymore. There you go, green. Woohoo! That's my new empty test. Yeah. Thank you, Cat. So, we now have a concept of moves, right? So each combatant has a move. I mean, the combatant is a really bad word. I don't know, because it's going to be like... The whole thing is, I'd love to be able to build a system where you can swap Pokemon. Sorry, Chatemon, because they're not Pokemon. So I'd love to have a system. So I don't know if combatant is the right word, or do we just call them Chatemon? Because essentially these are the Chatemon. These are the mythical creatures who you can capture and have do your bidding. So yeah, I guess you're right. Don't get sidetracked. New Year's resolution, don't get sidetracked. So, public array moves is an empty array to start. That sounds good to me. I feel like that's okay. And then we can model out the move, right? So, let's create a new PHP class. And let's call it move. I feel like that's pretty good. Oh, why isn't it used? Oh, it's forgotten all my life, my templates as well. This is soul destroying. I need to speak to somebody and figure this out. Because, like, it's forgotten the way that I like my template to look and everything. And I have this for the class, for the unit testing class as well. Okay. I'm all for all the strict types all the time. All for strict types all the time. So that's great. So, yeah, I'll add that in, Felix. Thanks. Good point. I mean, I could have added it in, but I didn't actually have a move class then. So I'll add that in later. So, a move. What does a move have? Well, if we take a look, I wish I could hook up, like, I really wish that I could hook up my Switch so that you could see my Switch. But I can't, I don't know how to, like, flip between. Yeah, that's actually a very good point, Cat. Add the doc block and then use the alt enter to create the class. I'm wondering if this video has a list of moves so we can see. Because I kind of know what's in the moves, but I'd like to see it on the screen. Okay, so this is him messing around with his box. He's doing a Gigantamax battle. Or she. Let's not gender this person. I have no idea who they are. Okay. Pokemon. I know what the speed is. I'll just explain it to you. It's totally fine. It's early part of the video when it does a double kick. Oh, okay. I didn't write back here. Yeah, it doesn't actually tell you here though, see, because he hasn't pressed Y to see the move info. So effectively a move only has two properties. I mean, apart from its name, etc., etc. So it has. Oh, come on. Has a name. It has. I mean, it has a type in the game, but we haven't got a concept of earth, fire, water, air, or whatever we're gonna do for types. We definitely want to add that in at some point. But at this point, we just have a move has a name. It has an accuracy, so a percentage chance to hit, and it also has a damage. So the percentage chance to hit is really easy because it is literally like 90, 100, 85 or whatever. So we just roll a dice, and as long as we roll like under the accuracy value, then we hit. Otherwise, the other Pokemon dodges. Chatemon, the other Chatemon dodges, because obviously this is not affiliated with Pokemon at all. And then the damage, so that's how much damage we do, and we're going to need to plug that into this complicated formula that we'll figure out how we're going to use later on. So that's great. Now then, what I'm thinking here is, in the factory, the reason I built this factory is actually so that I can create default move sets and stuff without actually having to mess around. So this is just looking for the arrays and iterating over the class values and checking that I'm setting everything. So that should be good. Now we can set some default moves here. This should still work, right? I think this test should still pass here. Oh, I got a missing array key because I'm not passing any moves in. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. So this is the combat and factory. Is this what's failing? Combat factory and combat factory test. Okay. So combat factory test line 22. Come on. Oh. Oh, I thought it crashed. Line 22. Yeah, that's fine. Property moves does not exist in data. Lovely. And so what's throwing that? Let's take a look. Property blah does not exist in data. So we have to pass in moves even if it's an empty array here, and that's totally fine. And that should make that pass, and now it should fail in a different place, which is right here. I can see you chatting. I'll be over to you in 1 second. Moves. Okay. There we go. Green. Zirkus.pro. Nice to see you. Thank you so much, Zirkus. Thanks, Alexi, for the 6-month subscription. Jeez, thank you so much. It's good to see you. I'm sure you'll have opinions, Zirkus, on my amazing data modeling here. Like the fact that I'm just using public properties to model this at the moment. I'm sure you'll have opinions, but I will come back and fix this. Should I book to go to Benelux? I will not be at Benelux, Kat. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't book to go there. It's a brilliant, brilliant conference. We've got our Twilio's kickoff where we have an all hands to start the year off on the 20th. So I'm going to be in sunny San Francisco when Benelux is happening. Otherwise, I would definitely be going to Benelux. Hey, Brunty. Now you get to laugh at my coding, Brunty, like I laughed at your Apex the day before yesterday. It's all good. So, I've got total... Like, my New Year's resolution, don't get distracted. I've totally got distracted immediately. So we've got a working test. Now, what I would like to do is say if data moves is an empty array. Do we Copper Beardy with the 12-person raid. Thank you so much. My Valley friend, my fellow Welsh streamer. Nice to see you. Thank you for the raid. I'm imagining that that you ain't gonna hang around long to watch me code in PHP, because I know you're .NET dudes, but it's all good. Thanks, Copper. Yeah, I'm doing really good, my friend. How are you doing? Hope you had a good New Year. And I hope the weather up the valley is better than the absolute dismal rain that we got down in Swansea. Like, it's totally bad. So, Opinions. Should I set some default moves here if they're not passed in, if an empty array is passed in? Or should I do it in the test? Should I say, oh, let's create some moves and add them in the test? I feel like this factory is perhaps not the best place to be doing that. I feel like I'll probably remove it later. But hey, let's just do it, right? Let's just do it. So if we've got an empty array of moves, if we've got an empty, if we've got an empty array of moves, let's set some default moves in the factory and live with the fact that we'll probably remove this later. So now I need to have some suggestions on the moves we're going to use. What moves should we have? So let's say, anyone want to give some suggestions for the first move name? The moves should be called like pun and elevator. Okay, so it's Chatemon. So for the raiders who've stuck around, thank you very much. We're building a game. We're building a game based on Pokemon, but you can't say that it's Pokemon because it's totally not Pokemon. It's called Chatemon. It's just based on Pokemon's combat system. And we're now thinking of some default moves we can create just so that we can like add some moves. So that I'd like to, by the end of today's stream, like get a Pokemon performing a move on another Pokemon and damaging them. On a Chatemon. Stop. Don't let me call them Pokemon. They're totally not Pokemon. So yeah, we're just going to create some default moves here that we're going to work with just to enjoy ourselves. Yeah, it's a PHP game. You'll be able to play it. The whole point of this is we're going to wire up a React front end and use Twilio Sync. That means that a round will be 30 seconds, and what will happen is we'll have a list of moves, and you can text in which move you think we should use, and then it'll be 30 seconds, and you can see a graph of who's winning, and then whatever move is the most popular at the end is what will actually play out, and then we'll see if we can win a game by crowdfunding it, or crowd gaming it. And it's the whole point for this is it's going to be a booth demo for when I'm at PHP events. And it's an interesting thing to explain how I built in talks. So this is fully work. It's just like tons of fun. I love building games. I'm like, the internal mechanics of games is really interesting to me. So that's what we're doing. And like everything I do, I start simple and then iterate. So my first idea here is to just get the combat system working. And I love to have suggestions on what move names should be. Okay, so what did we see? Let's take a look. In answer to your question, Felix, you should totally book to go to Benelux. There's some brilliant people there to hang out with, and it's a really social and really good community event. I only wish I was going. Elevator pitch. I love it. I love the move name. Can I spell ELEVATOR? So let's call it elevator pitch. I guess that's an attacking move. I mean, we should really only do attacking moves here. So let's say that the elevator pitch is a very accurate move, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. So the trade-off here is you're going to always land this move, but you're not going to do a ton of damage with it but it'll always hit. So it's low risk, low reward. So then we can say combatant moves move. So we've added one move to the. So I guess what we want is like another move. Move. My typing is so bad. It's almost like I've taken nearly 3 weeks off. So what are we going to call our second move? Any suggestions? Like Pokemon style moves? What did we have? Let's have a look back in chat. HR message. I love it. There's been a message from HR. Now, HR message could be good, could be bad. So there's a little bit more risk involved in landing a HR message. So the accuracy should be a bit lower. Let's say that it's going to land 9 out of 10 times. And let's say that its damage is twice that of elevator pitch. What do we think? Named constructors and use move equals move basic move to populate fallback moves. Yeah, I think you're right, Circus. This is my new like progress over perfection attitude, and I do agree. A named constructor and use it doing it that way would be a nicer way to do it. But do you know what? It ain't happening. We're gonna shove it in here for now, and then we'll refactor later. Thanks though. I agree. Okay, so we've got another move. It's a little bit more. It's only a little bit more risky than. What have I done wrong here? Oh, yeah, that's never gonna work. We totally will move this stuff out of the factory later. Absolutely agreed. I mean, the use your words, Gar. The factory will be used later on to build the combatants, but the moves will come out of a database somewhere. Like, we'll totally have a database of moves, and we'll give them IDs, and we'll link them, and we'll do all that good relational database stuff later on. But I just want to like see. I really, really, really enjoy seeing how these things play by throwing some code down onto the, just chucking some code down and then writing some tests and just seeing how this thing feels. It's really exciting to me. I know that makes me a total geek, by the way, but I'm willing to accept that. That's totally fine. I am a total geek, and I love writing code that emulates games. So, okay, next suggestion. We need another move. I know what this move is going to look like. It's going to be like highly risky. So this is going to be like a 75% accuracy. So it's going to miss one in 4 times, but it's going to be like really nicely damaging. Should we say 30? So this is going to be a risky move, and it's going to do a lot more damage, though. Use your words, Gary. Yeah, sorry. Use your words, Gary. Is that the name of the move you'd like like me to add, Jim? Welcome back to the stream. Happy New Year, by the way. Yeah, I'm good with use your words. Use your words. Perfect. Okay, so we should have 3. Moves. We should have 3 moves now, right? We should now have default have 3 moves if we don't pass any in. We'll definitely get rid of that later. It's totally fine. So now I want to test. I want to check that those 3 moves get added to the array. So let's just do an assert. I never use assert count. So let's use assert count. I've never ever used that. So because we've passed an empty array in, I'm totally expecting there to be 3 moves. More damage and higher mischance. Higher than 75%, you think? Do you think that we should like lower the hit chance even more? You got a typo. Self. Oh, I do have a typo. Self. Thank you. Mob programming for the win there again. So let's just check our test pass here. We can totally change the balance of the moves later on, right? I mean, I'm happy to say this is a 50% chance to hit, but it does 30 damage. Are we happier with that? Whatever, we can tweak this. Once we've got these Chatemon, not Pokemon, totally not Pokemon, they're not Pokemon. Once we've got the Chatemon fighting each other, then we can tweak the balance, right? That's the whole fun. Blwyddyn newydd dda, Gary. Thank you so much, Ollie Davis, and the same to you. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. 2020 is going to be awesome. I'm psyched to be back in work. I know that makes me weird. I know it makes me odd. I'm so up for 2020. I'm so excited. If I can get this game working and running on the booth in conferences, I'm going to be so stoked. I'll be happy when you extend off the class and have an emulated D8 dice roll. I mean, we're going to be doing dice rolls today. So, yeah, I really should remember what the most cryptographically secure random number generator is in PHP. That's definitely something I need to remember. Oh, yeah, good point, actually. We won't be extending this. Let's final class that right up. Final classes first is my new mantra too. Working with Marco Pavetti has really made me bad for this stuff. Right, I forgot what I'm doing now. This is why I'm waffling. Okay, so I guess we want to now change our tests, right? Because a combat shouldn't just do what it does. A combat round, I should say, not a combat. Because a combat round currently, it currently does the wrong thing. So how are we going to tell the combat turn which move we're going to use? Suggestions? We could pass it in as a parameter, right? The move index. We could just pass the move in. What move is going to be used? Should the combat be caring about looking up the moves, or should that be outside of the remit of taking a turn? Should the validation of can you pick that move and can you use it be outside of the take turn, or should the take turn be validating whether that move is actually a valid move to use? These are the questions. Sup, who ate my face cake? I very much enjoy your name. Zirkus, my good friend Zirkus, says, you remind me that I want to develop a game with PHP backend to explore design that goes into game creation. I might actually get to it once Laminus is settled. Yeah. I really, really find writing games just for the enjoyment of understanding how games work, like, totally enjoyable. Okay. Yeah, what else? So yeah, just index. Before taking turn, you should validate it. So we've got the combat in. My question is, do we need to say which move? Yeah, I think the move index is fine. Progress over perfection. Let's not get too hung up on this. So we're going to be expecting an int, which is the move index. That's what we're going to get now when we say take a turn. And that turn is going to be using this move index. I'm okay with that. If there's already a winner, we throw a combat already won exception. Now we want to check that move actually exists, because, obviously, if we pass in like 12 here and we've only got 3 moves, then that index isn't going to work. So let's validate that first. If not exists, array key exists. Array. God, my typing. I'm so sorry. Please, raiders who have come to see me, do not judge my typing. It's been so long since I've done any real coding. Return void. Do we return void? We do return void. Good point. Always up for adding better typing. You should always remind me when I don't have any type hints. We can't return void on a constructor. The PHP. How do I turn that off? I'm annoyed with our inspection already. PHP doc. No. Missing throws tag. Don't care about throws tag. Don't care about return tag. Don't care about that. Do care about that. Type doesn't properly match properties declared. Do care about that. Type compatibility. What's this? Reports the parameter passed to function calls function types not match the one specified in the function definition via declaration. Yeah, that's fine. We definitely want that, and we definitely want that. Turn that stuff off. Cool. Because I don't really believe in doc blocks now that we've got such brilliant type declaration in PHP. Like, why would I want to be defining the same information here and here? It's like just clutter to me. There's a bit of a naming conflict, I think. Rename move to attack ability, and move is the use of the ability. I don't agree. Like, we are modeling Pokemon here, and they are called moves in Pokemon. And while this is definitely not Pokemon, please tell my lawyers this is not Pokemon. We are kind of copying Pokemon. So I'm going to keep calling it moves. But thanks for the suggestion, because I love this. I love suggestions here. Awesome. And, okay, so if the array key doesn't exist in the move index, then we want to throw new exception. Move does not exist exception. Naming stuff is hard. It is hard. And that should be in the namespace Chatemon. Oh, is this crashed? Oh, I can't change the namespace. Okay. Chatemon. I'm sure it's Chatemon exception is the namespace that I used, right? Chatemon exception, yeah. I should be able to now create this using... Yep, there we go. And it should be in the right namespace. Beautiful. And we're just extending base exception in these exceptions for now. Again, progress over perfection. Sorry if you hate that. What were we working in here? Combat. Something weird is going on today. And what does it not like here? Undefined, unhandled exception. Required parameter. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, I have just said array key exists in the index. So the key we want to look for, and then the array is this. Oh, we don't have an attacker yet, do we? So we probably should do this underneath when we've got an attacker. Coding is difficult. So let's pull the attacker out, and then let's check if the attacker has the move that we've been asked for. And if it doesn't, we'll throw the exception, right? Perfect. Okay with that. I don't mind the throws tags. I kind of find the throws tags quite useful. Jesus, a lot of chat. Something else is needed to record who performed the move and which move. Yeah, of course we need to. Of course we'll want to record that stuff, Zerkers. So just to repeat, my aim today is to I literally just want to see if I can program something up so that this formula can be used in anger in a PHP unit test, essentially, just in some code, just so I can see how it feels. I'm just really intrigued to see, like, because I just found this on a random website on the internet, right? Let's see if I can find that so I can paste it into chat so you can read it later. Here we go. You can hear my keyboard. Pokemon damage calculation. And it is math.miami.edu. Miami.edu. Yeah, I think that's the boy. Yeah. So my only intention today is I really just want to see, like, how this feels. How does it play out? Is this going to be a fun game to play, even if it is by, like, SMS message or Twitch chat or WhatsApp or whatever I decide to hook up to this? Is this going to be fun? That's really what the answer is, the question I'm trying to answer today. I'm not familiar with Pokemon. No, I know, you're a bit... I mean, I'm a bit childish and like to play these games with my kids. I say I like to play them with my kids. I use that as my excuse. I use that as just my excuse. I just like to play games. It's the first game I bought on my Switch that that's really taken me. Like, obviously, Mario Kart is great fun, but this has been like a ton of fun. Pokemon. I've never really got into Pokemon games before. I've been really trying to think of a game you can play like as a mob where you can vote on what to do next. And one of the reasons we looked at doing Slay the Spire clone was because I thought that would be fun to play via SMS or chat or Twitch chat or whatever. But that was just so complicated. Like, deck handling was so complicated. I feel like we could have streamed 3-4 times a week for a year and not made a dent into our codename Trapdoor game. But, oh, thanks for the follow. Antiloctus, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Anyway, what were we doing? Okay, so if we pass in a move that doesn't exist, we should throw an exception. Let's get that tested straight off the bat, right? Because this is the new me, and I'm going to write tests. And I'm definitely going to write tests. Tests, playing turn with invalid move throws exception. Because naming stuff is hard. So, expect exception. A move doesn't exist exception. What did I call it? Move does not exist exception. Beautiful. And then this, I mean, these tests are just going to fail. Like, the rest of these tests are going to totally fail Control-Shift-T on the method, by the way. What do you mean? Command-Shift-T on the method. I don't understand. Then if we take a turn with an index of 100, this test should pass. The rest of them are going to fail, right? That test passes. Wonderful. The rest of them are going to go, boo, because I've added a new parameter to the method that we haven't fixed yet. So that's all good. On class method will allow you to create a test method. Yeah. That's good. I already have a test. What was it? Control-Shift-T. Command-Shift-T? Yeah, I already used that to navigate between the test and the implementation. It's fine. So, we now know we have a valid move, right? That's good. I'm gonna... we have this, the attacker. If the move doesn't exist, throw the exception. Otherwise, the move equals this moves... No. Attacker moves... move index. So we'll put the move into a variable here because we're going to use that a ton later on. So I want to know that I've got it. I'd love to learn more about domain-driven design, Zirkus. I really would. I'm totally... I'm going to buy the book by Mateus, I think. I'd really, really like to learn more about domain-driven design, and that's definitely something I'm going to do this year. I'm going to buy the book today and get that shoved onto my Kindle. But again, my pragmatism level is high, probably too high. So it's all good. So what do we want to do next? Do we want to fix our tests, or do we want to try and implement this and then fix our tests? Because our tests are going to fail anyway. I mean, I guess we should take a turn with an index of 0 here just to get rid of that actual horrible error, even though these tests will still fail. Oh, they'll pass, but they'll fail as soon as I break the algorithm. I'm still okay with just fixing these by saying, yeah, we'll take a turn with both of these. What are we missing in create? Unhandled exception. Didn't I turn those off? I could have sworn I turned those off. Unhandled. No, thank you. I don't care about exception handling, sorry. That makes me a bad person, so be it. Cool. So I guess at least our test should still pass again. Now, green. Woohoo! Love it. So now I guess we want to think about how we're going to implement this. I really want to look at how I'm going to implement this crazy formula, which is where the interesting bit comes. Thank you so much for the follow. Rookmooked Gaming, thank you so much. Nice to have you hanging out here. I've been looking at DDD in the last week or so. I'd be well open for a stream, Copper, if you ever want to collaborate, where we can talk about what it is and how we've been learning it. I'd be totally up for that. Thank you for following, Gallipop. So the battle damage formula. So I really want to try and implement this, right? So there's some stuff we're going to need here. The attacker's level, the attacker's attack, the attack power, the move power, essentially. And then the defender's defense or special. So we're not worrying about special. Same type attack bonus. We don't care about that. So we'll just call that 1. That's fine. We don't need to worry about it. The type modifiers. We don't have type modifiers. We don't have types involved in this combat system. So I guess that's going to be 0. We'll see how that's used later on. I mean, it's multiplied by that divided by 10. So... I don't know. And then a random number. So this should be doable now, right? So we need the attacker's level, the attacker's attack. I'm going to shove these into variables, right? Because we can get rid of this stuff. This is not good. Excuse me while I blow my nose. I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional on stream. But it is what it is. Secrets. It's not secret. It's just I need to blow my nose. Oh my word, I'm so glad I did secret that up. That would have been not very nice. Yeah, so we've got our defender, we've got our attacker, we've got our move. So let's start sketching out what we actually need. The attacker's level. Oh, we don't have a concept of levels, although we do have a concept of levels. So I don't really care about that at the moment, but we do have it. So Attacker level equals attacker. I mean, we don't need to do that, do we? We know how we're going to gather information. How's the best way to sketch this out? I guess let's do this. Let's do this. Let's copy that. Let's do that. And let's do that. And let's have that inside of our IDE, right? So that we don't have to keep going back and forth. So this is going to be our... This is going to be our damage. Is that what it gives us in the end? Seems like it's for the level of the... Yeah, that's going to be the damage that you do. So, okay. Let's just try and sketch this out then. 2 times A, which is attacker's level. This is scaring me already. Divided by 5 plus 2. Okay. That's inside of that, yeah, bracket. Times attacker's attack. This is so scary. Like, so scary. Yeah, I don't know if it's DDD I'm looking to learn. Sorry to go back, because I'm totally shouldn't be distracting myself from this important part. That was B. Let's just do times C as well. Attack power. So the move... what did we call... Oh, yeah, we need the dock block. We need the dock block that Kat told me I should have added, like, so long ago. I should have just added it, right? I should have just added it when Kat told me to add it. Move. Attack power. So what did we call that? Damage. I wonder if we should rename it to power. This algorithm is pretty tasty. It's scaring me. It's totally scaring me. But, you know, that's okay, right? So we've got 2 open brackets there. 1 close bracket, 1 close bracket, and then another close bracket. I don't understand. What have I done wrong here? The brackets are mismatched. My maths tells me that the brackets are telling you to evaluate this first and then evaluate this, right? But then what's this bracket for? Is it just mismatched? Oh my word, I'm so scared. I'm so scared about the lack of brackets. I wish I'd looked at the brackets earlier. Public properties scare me. Yeah, we already talked about that at the beginning of the stream, Zirkus. So you should have tuned in earlier if you wanted to speak about that. Public properties are terrible, and I'll definitely be thinking about which part of this system should be mutable and which versus immutable. I mean, I'm copying the brackets correctly, right? Open bracket, 2A, so 2 times attacker's level, divided by 5 plus 2. Then there's a close bracket down here. Then it's multiplied by B and then by C. And then there's a close bracket, which is here. Here. But then it says divided by D and then another close bracket. So I can only assume that we'll need to add matching brackets at the front. Oh, I don't know. I should have looked at this before. Let's read the article again. Oh, we could write a test. If this tells me an answer here, right? We've got level 1. We've got 10 attack, damage. The Pokemon, the Chatemon, sorry, has got... Yeah, that's exactly the problem I've got, Jim. The after the D, it's closing nothing. But if we can write the test for this, then we can figure out if I just need to do opening brackets and closing brackets. And it gives me nice bit of information here. So the power's 10. The defense is 5, let's say. Stab is to do with the how much same type attack bonus. And type modifier 1. Okay, that's saying the maximum is 2, the average is 2, and the minimum is 1. So it can be 1 or 2, is that what it's saying? Let's see what happens if we give the Pokemon 100 attack. Okay, so it's going to be between 8, 9, and 10 damage. I guess we can write a test for that, right? We could totally write a test for that. What on earth? Why is that? Why is my... What? Try it and see. Yeah, I think you're right with try it and see, but I would not know how this was... To obtain an accurate value, you must round down to the nearest whole number at every step that produces a number with a decimal remainder. This algorithm is awesome. Okay, well then let's just try it. Try it and see. I wholeheartedly agree. Let's see how it works. We need to round down at every step though. So let's see how we can do this. How do we do this? How do we do this? We seal it, right? But do I want to just like put the seal in here? Not seal, flow. Do I just want to do this? Maybe the author didn't bother adding. I think that's exactly what is happened here, Neilio. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you that the author didn't bother adding the things at the beginning. It's just figuring out how am I gonna make this readable. And I suspect we should split it into different values. I suspect what we should do is say, take this bit, floor it, and then times by B and C. We don't need to floor that because B and C are integers, so there's no way once we've... This can't be a... Oh, they're all integers though. So there's no way I need to worry about floor, right? Because everything's an integer. So it has to be round numbers. Oh no, we're dividing here though. Oh, what do we do? Right, let's take a try it and see. Let's take a try it and see mentality. Let's just code this algorithm out and then see where we are from there. So we're up to here, and then we divide by D, which is defenders defense. Yeah, and we every time we add in one of these, we add one in the front. And then we divide by 50. Let's see what happens if I do this. Then we divide by 50, and then we add 2. And then we multiply by... Let's get some spacing going on here. I don't know what PHP says should be the spacing for this, but I'd like to be able to read it. Okay. Times 1. Times 1? What? Hello? Oh, you're telling me what comes next. Where did I get to before? Plus 2 times X, same type attack bonus. Yeah, we're right. 1, we're not worrying about same type attack. In fact, we can just drop that off, but let's leave it in for now. Times Y, type modifier. I don't know what that should be. It can't be 0, right? Because multiplying it by 0 will reset it to be 0. 1 for now. Come back to fix that if it's a bug. Times Y, that was, right? And then divided by 10. And then we need to close both of these, open both of these brackets. This is cray stuff. And then we multiply by... How do I do a random int? Random int between 217 and 255. That's times Z, right? And then close that and then divide by 255. Okay. Whoa, that's one crazy algorithm. Let's put that above it now. I mean, let's be honest here. I'm not unhappy if this is not strictly correct, right? I don't really care if this works. As long as it's fun, I don't really care. I'm going to var dump damage out at this point because I just want to run this code and see what happens. And let's go to our combat test and let's do this, run this test. And I should see, oh, it's a double, okay. So we definitely need to think about flooring this stuff, so that we're getting round numbers. And I would like to read what it said again. Work your way out to the next step is to multiply by b, then c. To obtain an accurate value, you must round down to the nearest whole number at every step. I mean, we could just put floors in round all of these brackets, right? I think we can simplify this a lot. Maybe format like multi-line array, then you can add comment for each step for what it represents. Yeah, that would work. Oh, you were a fellow practitioner of VDD, driven development. Yeah, I do VDD. I also use step debugging a lot, but for most stuff, I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. So we should just be able to do this, right? Because these are all bracket pairs anyway, so I can just floor every single time and see what happens. Because it does say to do round numbers at every step. Now we have horrible indenting, but I'm going to manually pull them back. And I agree with you, with Zirkus here too. And I also agree with you, Kat, that we totally should be able to simplify this. We totally should be able to simplify this. What did we get? What did we get? What did we get? We got naught. Okay, that's not good. In fact, it might be correct. It could be correct because I'm using I'm using really, really weird values. So let's set the values to be this. The level is 1. The attacker's level is 1. Let's start this right. So the attacker's level is 1. That's correct. The attacker's attack is 100. The power of the move is 10. That's correct. The defense of the defender is 5. Is that correct? Yeah. The same time, right, okay, let's try running that one then. Let's see if that works any better. This is complicated stuff. Let's be honest. Double. Oh, because I didn't floor the last value, right? After I've divided by 255. Okay, I'm wondering if we just, like, write our own algorithm here. What do we think? To start with, shouldn't the move's damage just be deducted from the defender's health? There needs to be randomness involved, right? There's got to be randomness involved, because this game wouldn't be fun. Mind you, there is randomness involved for a crit. There is randomness involved for a crit, because we roll a dice at the beginning to see if we've done a critical hit, and a critical hit does double damage. Those times one are not needed. Yeah, I know. I just left them in. I left them in because I wanted to... well, for one, I don't think that this times 1 is correct, and I wanted to strictly match the algorithm that we had here. I don't think a game's fun, Kat, if there's no randomness in it. I don't see a game as being fun because if there's no randomness in it, I mean, we do have randomness in it. We have hit or miss, right? So maybe that adds the fun. Do you see what I mean? The whole fun of playing Pokemon is about doing a big hit and one hit in it. But we're not at the gameplay stage yet. But I do want to try and play this today. I want to play it via PHP API and see how things work. I'd like to try and get this working. I don't feel like we should give up just yet. Okay, what I'd like to do is I'd like to figure out what's going on. I suspect there's a problem with me saying type modifier 40, 20, 10, 5, 2.5 or not, and I've put 1. So let's try 2.5 because the type modifier can be not, because some types of Pokemon cannot physically damage other types of Pokemon. Like, I don't know, dark Pokemon can't damage a psychic Pokemon or something. So which is why there's a note in there, because that would make sure that there's like no damage ever. But 2.5 may be the default, and then 5, 10, 20 and 40 for different same type attack type modifiers. That could be what's going on here. That could definitely be what's going on here. Where are we? Wanted combat and test. Yeah, let's rerun this. This one, right? So now we've got 1, which helps. But what we're looking for in this instance is 10, 9, or 8. So now we can tweak it again, though, right? We can see if the default, for example, is 10. Because there's a default value here that I don't know what the default is for no same type attack bonus or no same type same type attack, whatever the opposite of a bonus is. That's what's going on here, is we need to try and figure out what the default is. So now we got 9.0, right? So if we floor this as well, because we floored everything else, then we might as well add 1 more floor in, right? Because this looks awesome. I mean, we could definitely refactor this later to be more readable. I feel like we're in the ballpark here. 9, is this constantly doing 9? 8, okay. I feel like we may be good here. 9. I mean, let's go with it. Let's go with it and see how it plays. I'm pretty happy there. So now we need to modify this test, though, because it's not going to be accurate at all because we've added randomness. Adding randomness to tests is horrible. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's really bad. But we can say, can you say in a range? Is there a test assertion that I can use to say it should be in this range? It should be this, this, or this. That's a good question. I mean, we could put it in array, right? And say, check that it's in the array. Greater than or equal is we don't care about. Less than or equal, not contains. Not. Does anyone know if there's any good assertions we can run with? Assert in array, yeah, that's what I would say would be the best thing to do myself as well. Assert, it's not in array though, is it? It's assert, swap a random number generator decorator. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, what we totally should do is we should have a random number generator that we pass in as a constructor argument, and then we can pass in one that doesn't generate randomness. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And I know you're going to judge me, and I don't care. It's not in array though, is it? What's the assertion? Has key? Oh, we can just assert true. It's fine. Let's not get hung up on the assertions. We could just do this, right? The needle is the combatant's health, and the haystack is range 8 to 10. What did you say? Start finish, yeah. That should work, right? Assert is true. The combatant's health is in the array of 8, 9, and 10. That should definitely work. The number of turns we got, we're definitely going to need to add a swappable random number generator and thinking about this. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to test this. But we've got green. We've got green, and that is good. So let's get all of these tests passing with horrible range number generator. Oh, we seem to have crashed page per unit. That's good. I mean, lots of you have stuck around. This has got to be interesting. It's like not the most interesting looking at tests and algorithms for combat and stuff, but I'm really enjoying myself. So thanks for sticking around. It really means a lot to me. I don't know why this has failed. What did it hang on? Test run. Oh, it hung on this infinite loop. That's why. Because I haven't looked at whether there's a winner or not. So it's going to like hang on this while loop here. Look for assertion with delta in name for range. I'm okay with this for the moment. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. Method 1 provides one parameter, but method signature What? Oh, get turns. That's why. Not take turn. So, obviously, what's happening here is nobody's winning for some reason. And that's... I know what the some reason is. It's because we never deduct the damage from the defender's health. So, defender's health minus equals damage. So now we're deducting the damage from the health. Where do we... Then we check if there's a winner. So, this should now pass that test, right? I think. Health must be int, float used. Oh, so this isn't an int at this point, even though it should be. That's what this is telling me. It's telling me that this is the wrong type, which is intriguing. How do I debug this from here? Can I do it from here? No. Okay, that's fine. We can do it from here. What was the test? It was combat test. This one, right? Debug. Okay. Why is that failing? Why is that failing? Surely floor casts your equals a double. Yeah, but surely floor would cast it to be an int, right? That's what I'm trying to say here, is we floored everything at every single opportunity. So it should not be a double at this point. It should be an int. Right? Am I right, or am I... This is why I'm confused here. var dump driven development. I honestly thought the flow returned an int. Oh, it returns a false, does it really? So whole value, but type is float. Yeah, I honestly thought that flow cast to an int as well as rounding down. I thought, yeah, I can see that it's false or float now. But I genuinely, I've always believed that flow would return an int or false, but it actually returns a float, which is cool. It's good to know that. Like, we learn these things. And do you know what the best thing about this is? It's int-like, yeah, but it's not an int. What the best thing about this is, we found a potential bug in our code, which we would never have found without typed properties. This is why typed properties are winner chicken dinner. It's because, like, this has literally caught a bug in our code before it would ever make it onto any server anywhere. And I am absolutely convinced. Kat's worked with me before. She knows in the consulting that we've done over the years, so many bugs that we find in code are caused by flippity floppity type conversions, like so many of them, that the fact that we're catching type problems in development blows my mind, and I love it. I'm absolutely, like, so happy to see that. I mean, we could add that up here, right? We could just do it here. In fact, let's do it there. It's fine. This horrific algorithm is bad enough as it is, but I'm just happy that I'm catching... yeah, we could do that as well. I'm happy to make sure that damage is an int before we get down here. I'm happy to make sure that it's the right value, you know, in case we use it further on down the line. But I'm so happy to be catching bugs in development. Like, if you're not using strict typing, you're losing out. You're so losing out on free catching of bugs. Like, honestly, it's amazing. Okay, failed asserting that 15 matches expected 19. Right, that's just because I've modified stuff that I haven't modified the test. So combatant 1's health. So now we need to figure out what combatant 1's health is. It can be its original health minus 8, 9, or 10. Like, that's what I believe. And combatant 1 has a health of 20. So it can be 12, 11, or 10. My maths... Oh, hello. doing maths like this live on stream is like stuff you do every day is scary as hell. In array. Okay, so combat one's health can be 11, 10, or 12. It's starting to smell a bit. Yeah, it is. It's fine. 'Tis fine. What we'll do is, off stream, I'll figure out a better way to write these tests. I don't think that substituting random generators in is the thing to do on stream. I'm definitely going to do a lot of coding on this off stream, but it's going to be mainly tidying up stuff. 2 assertions, less than and bigger than, are easier to read. I love it. Thank you, Zerkers. I totally agree. I totally didn't think of adding... I really didn't think of adding more than 1 assertion there. I love it. Thank you. So, and okay, now we should probably start writing out tests the right way round as well, right? Because people are getting really angry. I'll flip those off stream as well. Combatant 1 should have a health that's greater than 10 and less than 13. Greater than 9 and less than 13, sorry. I love it. Much better. Greater or equal even. 2 assertions, less than and bigger than are easy to read. Yeah, greater or equal. Better. Is that an assertion? Greater or... Yeah, perfect. I'd much prefer greater than or equal because then it's giving me more information. Less than or equal. It's giving me more information. It's telling me that it is expected to be greater than or equal to 10. And I find that pass is so much easier. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Kat. My team just saves me on every occasion, and I love it. Thank you. So yeah, we just assert that it's greater than or equal to. I much prefer that. I'll clean these tests up off stream. I'll totally clean these tests up. I'm definitely going to be looking... I'll invite you later. Yeah, you probably will. I'm definitely going to be looking at how we can test this randomness. I'll probably hit you up in Slack, Zerkers, if you don't mind, to see how I can abstract out the randomness so that we can have predictability while still making sure that it's testable. But I'm good with this. This is fine. So now that we say... so this is after 1 round of combat, right? So after 1 round of combat... Combatant 2's health should be between 8 and 10. So let's get some spacing going on here, because these 2 tests are... In fact, let's just copy pasta this. This should be between 8 and 10, right? Was that correct? Okay, coming to health. Is that right? 8 and 10. How is it 8 and 10? What health do they start with? 10. So surely this should never pass. Yeah, I was going to say, this is totally wrong. This should be between... the first round, they've got 10, and we can do 8, 9, or 10 damage. Then... yeah, I was going to say that test should never pass, because you could have 0, 1, or 2 health, right? This could be all over in 1 round. So let's give them health of 12 so that it can't be over in 1 round. And then let's say 12 minus 8 will be 4. So it's going to be between 2 and 4, right? Am I going insane here, or does that make sense to people? That makes sense to me. I'm going to clean these tests up and make them look the same as these tests later. Between 2 and 4 for combatant 2. Tests are so good. I love it. I love mob programming and I love tests. It's definitely going to fail. What does it say? It says... Failed asserting 19 is equal to 12. What have I done wrong here? Oh, I know what I've done wrong here. I'm assuming the combatant 1 and 2 have the same attack power, right? I know exactly what I'm doing here. They don't have the same attack power. So Combatant 2 can only do like 1 or 0 damage. Combatant 1 can do 8, 9, or 10. So let's give them the same attack. Let's be fair. Let's give them the same attack, the same defense. Let's just set one of their health to be bigger than the other. So this guy, this Chatemon should always die in 2 moves, in my mind. And this one should never be able to die in 2 moves. So we should always get a winner after 2 moves of this person. This is going to be so complicated to test. Like, super concentrated. -6. What have I done? What have I... Oh, now... Oh, jeez, yeah. So after 1 move... After 1 move, we've only taken 1 turn here, right? Oh, no, this is his winner. This is his winner. That's fine. We don't know how much health we've got. In fact, we don't care about the health once the winners are done. We only care that there's a winner and that the number of turns it took was 2. This test is so wrong. I need to fix the one above. Oh, 3 turns. How would it be 3 turns? Oh, because each turn is an attack from each combatant. So Combatant 1 attacks Combatant 2. That's 1 turn. Combatant 2 attacks Combatant 1 back. That's 2 turns. Combatant 1 attacks Combatant 2 again and kills them. That's 3 turns. Perfect. Attack. In which context? Attack is the attack stat of the combatant. These values appear are us setting up Chatemon. Pokemon. Chatemon. So we're setting up this Chatemon, sorry, has an attack of 100 and a defense of 5. So we're just giving some basic values. So this is their attack value. This is a value that constantly gets higher and higher as the Chatemon levels up. This is not the damage. The damage is defined by the move that they use. And currently, the move that we're using is this one that has no randomness in it. This move that's guaranteed to hit and to do 10 damage. The actual damage that's done is a combination of the Pokemon's attack stat, the damage of the move that's being used, and the defending Chatemon's defense stat. That's what we coded in that big algorithm. Hope that explains it better. So this should now pass, right? Because we're not really caring at this point about what the health is. Only that when we set up known values with the randomness, this always passes. And it does. So now we want to fix... Oh, it wasn't that one. It was this one. Yeah, and it passes. We don't care about the health here because we've got randomness in it. It's a damage modifier. Yes, it is. It's a damage modifier. Perfect. So now we should be able to check that this runs as well. And it should throw an exception when the combat's done, which it does. So we can't, this is just checking that we can't take a turn when the combat's already been finished. Because we don't want to be able to take another turn when the combat's already won, right? So we're testing that. This tests that there's no winner. I think all the tests should pass now. And they do. And I love it. So now we should be able to play out the combat, right? And the way that I'm going to play out a combat is I'm going to add some log into this so that we can just see in the logs how combats play out. Because that's like a way that we can actually... No. That's the way that we can actually see exactly what's happening, right? Is via login. Get winner should return null rather than throw, I think. No, because if I'm calling get winner, I expect this combat to be won. And so if I call a get winner and there is no winner, then I've coded something logically wrong. And so it should throw an exception because that's a logic problem in my code. I would expect it to return null if I can call get winner at a time when there's been no winner because my code, my API allows that. But my API is like, no, you should only be calling get winner once combat has been resolved. So I don't think that returning a null is valid there. I think throw-in is completely acceptable in that instance, personally. In the same way that you shouldn't be calling take turn if the combat's already been won. So then you should throw an exception to say, why are you calling take turn? The combat's already won. You've got a logic problem somewhere in your code that's calling take turn. I feel like that's fine. So we also now need a logger in here. This is where dependency becomes slightly painful. But yeah, I guess we just install monologue as a dependency, right? Is it monologue? Is it? Yeah, I really do appreciate your opinion, Zirkus, but in all honesty, we're like literally writing a proof of concept, and I'm on good being like perfection being the enemy of good here. It's good enough for what I want to do today, and I'm totally open to refactoring this stuff later, but for today, definitely good enough. But thank you anyway. Okay, so let's create let's create a log directory. Yeah, that's good enough too. And I guess we just take a logger as an extra dependency here. And then we start thinking about adding dependency injection container and other stuff. Isn't it logger? Monologue? Logger? Yeah. Then we start thinking about dependency injection containers and managing all these dependencies later. But I guess we should just sort that out later. When we come to wire this stuff up to a framework or an API, a HTTP API rather than a PHP API, then we can worry about that stuff. Okay. And there's, whoa, how many G's? Too many G's. Add property. Oh, how clean. How much cleaner is this? PHP 7.4 is amazing. Thank you to everyone who did work on that. This is just blowing my mind. This is just blowing my mind, like how good this API, this code looks now that we can just have typed properties. I'm so easily pleased, mind. That's true. I am so easily pleased. Excuse me. This cold, man. I've had it for over 3 weeks. It's awful. Anyway, so I just want to add some login in here so we can see how this looks, how this fight looks, as it plays out, and then use PSR logger interface. Yeah, that's probably wise. Realistically, am I ever going to use any other logger than monologue? Like, when am I ever going to change out monologue? Monologue is, even though, like, Jordi Boggiano is a dick and I hate him, this logger is just the de facto. I love Jordi. Don't take that seriously. Don't tweet at him saying, Gary just said you're a dick. Or actually do that if you want. But yeah, I love him. And what an amazing man with beautiful hair. But yeah, you're never going to change out. Like, I get it, Zirkus, you're right. If I was doing this for a client, you're totally right. Use the PSR logger so that we can swap it out later. In this instance, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay, so let's add some login. Like, I'm really interested to add some login. Oh no, this let's not log our exceptions yet. I totally don't expect that to be info. Attacker is boosh. Defender is defender. Type in. How would you use Laminus log then? I've never used Zend log, Laminus log, whatever. I've always just used monologue. Like I don't even know why, as a member of the Laminus /Zend framework community review team, I have no idea why we maintain Laminus log. Like, it's just a waste of everyone's efforts. There's already a de facto logger out there, so why are we even worrying about maintaining another logger? Let's add some more information. Damage is... Okay. How much info do we need here? Do we want to know how many turns have gone? I think we want to do it up here though, right? I think we want to do that as soon as we've concluded the combat isn't won yet. We log here. Info. It's turn and it's player ones go. Interesting. Okay. If we can see this combat playing out in log format, today will be a winner. Yeah, I agree. I know we definitely should maintain it, Zirkus. I'm not saying any different. I'm just saying, like, why would you ever use it in a Greenfield project? There's just no reason to use Laminus log in a Greenfield project when Monologue's so good and so well maintained. Okay, damage is bang. We take the damage off the defender. Defender, I hate this. Health is now... Okay, let's just add that in for now, and we can add more in later. Beautiful. So, now we need to create a logger here, right? Now, we would normally not add a real logger, because it's Laminus, you traitor. Yeah, okay. We wouldn't normally add a real logger, right? We'd normally like log to an array or log to something else, but I want to just see how this combat plays out. So I'm just gonna like test logger. I'm just gonna add an actual logger that logs to file because I want to see how this combat plays out. Like that's the whole point. Obviously, in a test, when we come to make this correct, we'll add a handler that just logs to array or something. File handler, is it called? Oh, what's it called? I just want a disk file handler. Look. Can anyone remind me? PHP console handler would be good enough, right? In fact, that might even be better. That actually might be better for tests. What's wrong with this? Why do I have expected parameter of type array? Oh, okay. I don't care about the options. Options array equals... Well, it already gives an empty array. That's fine. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So we want to look at this test here, right? This test that plays out. PHP console library not found. Oh, okay. Has dependencies I don't have installed. Let's just do it to disk. If anyone can remember what the handler is called, then I would totally be happy to remind myself. Monologue PHP. Let's take a look, because the default like README tells you how to do this immediately. I thought it did. Stream handler, right? That's what it is. Stream handler. Of course it is. I'm disappointed in you, chat, for not remembering that it's a stream handler. Highly disappointed. And then we just do douche, right? We want it to be from the current directory. We want to go. I hate these yellow lines already. Okay. Dir up one. Where are we? We're in test, right? Test, combat test. We go up one, then we go into log, then we do combat.log. Why is it giving me errors here? Right, screw this. It's annoying me. Let's do this nicely, straight off the bat, right? There we go. Why doesn't it like the handler? Expected parameter of type array. Oh, an array of handlers. That's why. Because obviously you can use more than one handler. Okay, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. What was the name of the test? This one. Okay, it passed. The question is, do we have a log in here? My eyes killing me. I'm tired. I've got a cold. PHP output works too, but could be messy. Yeah, thank you. Why don't we have a log file here? Have I, logged to somewhere completely... Yes, I did. I logged to somewhere completely random. But that's fine. We've got a log. We've got a log. It's turn not, and it's player one's go. Oh, I escaped the wrong thing right there. And nobody in chat is paying any attention because you're all as tired as me. Disappointed in your chat. Disappointed in you. Come on. Don't worry, we're nearly done. The slog for today is nearly over. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really mean it. We'll definitely be back. Why? Oh, here. There you go. This has been so cool. Log file, please. So, it's turn not and it's player one score. Attacker is 1, defender is 2. Damage is 9. Defender's health is now 3. It's turn 1 and it's player 2 score. Attacker is 2. Defender is 1. Damage is 8. Defender's health is now 12. It's turn 2 and it's player 1 score. Attacker is 1. Defender is 2. Damage is 8. Defender's health is now -5. The fight is over. I love it. I'm really happy with this. The one thing I am going to do is change the login slightly here and say we don't need to add whose go it is because we log that later on. So let's clean that up a bit, and let's say attacker is and the attacker name, and then let's log the whole attacker object so that we get access to that. Does that need to be an array? Oh, I thought you could. Okay, I thought you could pass an object and then it would JSONify it for you. We need to convert that to his array. We'll do that next week, or this week. We're going to be streaming a lot this week. We'll do that next stream. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to just do something crazy, do a really long combat with crazy stats to see what happens. So let's say we've got level 10 taking on a level 12. The level 10 has an attack of 143 and a defense of 47. And has, I don't know, let's say 102 health. Printer, yeah, that works. Printer converts it to an array, of course it does. That's nice. I was just going to create a to array method, and its ID is just that. So this has got a high attack and a lowish defense. Let's say this person is level 12, has a lower attack, has an attack of 91, but has a higher defense of 85, let's say, and has more health, 151 health. Who's going to win this fight? Anyone want to place their bets? Roll up. Who's going to win? Let's see. The test's going to fail, by the way. We know the test's going to fail. But this still should be fun. And we run the game, and then we look at the log file. And this is the end of our last fight, so let's blip that. Let's see who won first. Defender is 1. So player 1 lost. -2 to 47. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Player 1 lost, even though I had a higher attack. This is fun. So damage is 3. The damage numbers are very low. And I don't know why that is, if this is correct or not. I don't know if these damage numbers are accurate. This is what worries me. This is what worries me. We should totally write some more tests to check that our algorithm is matching this website, because we can plumb figures in here, and we can plumb the same figures in our tests and check that those tests pass. But I am out of time, so I need to write myself a note. So I remember, like, we totally could stream tomorrow, but it's more than likely going to be Wednesday, but that's all good. I'm hoping to stream a lot this week. To do, write better tests to ensure the damage algorithm matches website. Clean everything up as it stinks. And definitely clean up damage algorithm so it's more readable. Algorithm. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I really, really, really enjoyed this stream. It's so nice to be back streaming. And double thank you to Copper Beardy for the raid. Once again, thank you so much. So happy. I didn't even know you were streaming. I didn't get a notification, but I'll definitely come and hang out in your stream next time you're around. So thank you so much. Let's see who's streaming and who we can... Let's see, is anyone actually that I know streaming? No, nobody's streaming. There we are then. We leave it at that. Thank you so much. And take care, everybody. And have a good Monday.